Dear future Dina, whatever you do today, I'm really proud of you. Okay, it's time to talk about it. If you're new around here, my name is Dina. I am an almost 40-year-old living downtown Toronto with my beautiful, she's over there in the corner, rescue cat Chloe. I have fibromyalgia and CPTSD, which makes for a fun time. Chloe, hi. On October 15th, I became a marathoner. Unofficially, because I don't have an official time. This is something that is hard to talk about, and everyone tells me that, you know, you should be so proud of yourself because you did a marathon, and yes, I did. I did do 42.2 kilometers. I actually did a little bit more than that. Running as a back of the pack runner and having certain things against you is incredibly challenging, and I'd like to share my story running the Toronto Waterfront marathon. The reality is, it was incredibly disappointing how us back of the packers were treated, knowing that I could do the distance, but encouraged not to, then being kicked off the course. There were people along the way that made it really great, and there were people in situations along the way that made it pretty terrible. It was hard. I'm proud of myself. It's hard to talk about because I am a plus-size disabled runner, and when we put ourselves out there on social media or anywhere that the whole world could see, it's incredibly vulnerable because some people will look at people like me and some of my friends, and we get a lot of backlash from very snobby people who think that they know everything. You know, we get a lot of comments like, how can you still be that big if you run a marathon? Or how can you possibly run that distance? Or, oh my gosh, your knees are gonna struggle so hard. My knees are fine, by the way. It's difficult and hard. This is my story. On October 15th, I became an official marathoner. I wasn't going to do it unless my coach told me that I could. I have a wonderful coach that I work with at a gym who understands fibromyalgia, and I actually have two coaches. I have Josh and I have Martina, and they are both wonderful, and they get me, they get my crazy broken mind, and they get my crazy broken body, and they understand and they push me. With Josh's encouragement and support, I actually ran the half marathon last year on October 16th, 2022. And my friend Shannon came out, she offered to come out and run it with me, and we had a great time. In, I think, the only minute of runner's high I had while we were doing that, I looked at her and said, hey, do you want to run a marathon, the full marathon next year? And she went, sure. So Josh said we could. Well, Josh said I could. So we went for it. I need you to know and understand that I was filming stuff for Instagram and not specifically YouTube, so everything's gonna be kind of like, you know, angled the wrong way. And I also only have the first 26, 27 kilometers because my phone started to die and I needed it for tracking purposes, so I actually didn't record anything on the other side of it, once we got kicked off the race, etc. I didn't record anything, but I'll do my best to remember and bring you along on the journey. If you've watched my triathlon video, you know that I was training for my first sprint triathlon, which is swimming, biking, and running, as well as my first marathon at the same time. Do not recommend this. It was not pleasant. I also had a very stressful and difficult summer, taking care of my parents while I was visiting them. For all of that story, you can look at my triathlon video, but it was a challenging summer, and it was a challenging training season, but I did what I could. I ran the distances that I was supposed to. As we got closer to the marathon, my cross training wasn't going as well as it should have been. You really need to strength train as you're doing your runs in order to stay as healthy as possible, and I wasn't doing everything that I should have been doing. I was definitely putting in the runs for the most part. I missed out on a couple, but I got in, I think the furthest distance I ran was 30 kilometers beforehand, and I ended up with Unofficially, I ended up with plantar fasciitis. We don't have a diagnosis. I haven't been to the doctor. I ended up starting to train on my longer distances in the same shoes that I ran the half marathon in, and they were great then. They're not great shoes for me now. They have the carbon plate, and something in my left foot just did not sit well in that. It ended up causing me an injury. I switched to a different pair of shoes very quickly, which I really liked. They were a neutral shoe, and apparently I should have been in a different shoe, a more stabilizing shoe, which again, I didn't realize. Your shoes have a specific like mileage on them that you should swap them out after you run that mileage on. And I definitely, within the first 5 kilometers of running the marathon, I went, oh no, my shoes are dead. So mistakes were made. But before we get into all of that, I need to take you back 2 days beforehand where Shannon and I went to the expo. You have to pick up your race kit, and normally it'll be like at a running room or something, but if you do like a big race, then they'll do a giant expo. So we're going to the expo, and I am so excited because this year I'm buying the jacket and I can't wait. Anyways, I'll show you all about it. Basically, you pick up your bib and then you can buy a whole lot of product if you want, which we did. Got myself a hat, got myself the official jacket, which I love and am slightly obsessed with. Got myself this sweater I'm wearing. It has raccoons on it. So cute. Ran into a friend of mine. I always run into this friend whenever we're running the same races, and it's so funny because you always have a large amount of time to pick up your race kits, and we always end up running into each other, so it's quite funny. Had a nice catch up with Shannon, and then we both went on our ways. The next day we hung out a little bit, went for lunch with my friend Patricia, and actually the 3 of us are hiking Machu Picchu in August, as well as my friend Michelle, the day of the marathon. Of course I didn't sleep well. It's just not a thing. Okay, so eating, you gotta eat immediately, so hopefully it moves through you before you get to the start line. Probably gonna eat just a tiny bit more. Yeah, gotta have a quick shower, just warm up my body, and then slather it with some Tiger Balm and some squirrel's nut butter, which is the body glide, my body glide of choice. And then I need to do a ton of stretching, do some foam rolling. I'm rolling out my feet right now on a ball. Pack up my bag and get my clothes on, and oh, it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold. Do I take my gloves? Probably, hey? Yeah, probably. I always overthink what I'm gonna wear. How cold is it? What layers am I gonna wear? I'm no pro, so don't judge me, but taped up, a little support for my knees, lots of support for my plantar fasciitis and my tendon that causes me grief, lots of support for this tendon. I gotta just strengthen my calves, that's really what I got, but all taped up. Now I get dressed. As a back of the pack runner, I tend to make sure that I have everything that I'm gonna need. I run self-supported, especially because I had a feeling we were gonna get kicked off, and I wanted to make sure that I could finish no matter what. All right, what's in my running vest? When you're a back of the pack runner, you gotta be really prepared for a long ass day. I have 2 liters of water, obviously with electrolytes in there. I will be utilizing the water stations as we go just to make sure I don't run out. I have 2 things of baby food plus 1 honey stinger waffle. I have 5 goos. I have a fresh pair of underwear just in case. My friend's bringing toilet paper just in case. Painkillers. I have my health card, another ID card, and my debit card just in case. Obviously my keys. And backup headphones just in case my AirShots battery dies. Got my Fitbit on. Got my Gooder sunglasses, the fun ones. She does not like to be held. Hi. You good girl. You're a good girl. Thank you, good girl. I do feel like I need to tell you guys I don't enjoy running, which sounds crazy. I don't run for fun. Some people run for fun, like they actually enjoy going out for a run. That's not me. It's not something that I'm like, yeah, I get to run today. I was told when I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia and started seeing specialists that I was not allowed to run. I was never allowed to run. And that kind of made me go, well, watch me. I have 26 medals back here, most of which are runs. One's a triathlon. There's a couple of obstacle races in there, but most of those are from runs. I don't know. I think because it was so challenging for me physically, it also pushed me a lot mentally. And I really liked what it did for me mentally. My reason for running is for my mental health. Also, when I do a race like this, I raise money for causes that are important to me. For both my half marathon and my full marathon, I raise money for Alzheimer's research because my mom has Alzheimer's. And thanks to super generous donations by friends and family, I was able to raise over $3,500 this year for Alzheimer's Society of Toronto, which that kept me going, let me tell you. Last year for my half, we raised $1,600. It's pretty great. I'm very thankful for everyone who's donated. So if that was you, thank you so much. The start line is way up there, and we're way back here. My Paul Martin's here. Here we go.
Okay, Corral I is our first dancing Corral.
We're only 7 or 8K in, and I'm already 9K. We're 9K in, and I'm really in my head right now about this. I'm in a lot of pain already, and I'm already like struggling. Shannon's been amazing, but I'm already struggling. And Life is a Highway just came on, which if you follow me, you know my buddy Bob, sound engineered. He told me he was going to be at the finish line today. He passed away, but he was with me. Let's go. 11K, almost at the turnaround. Woo! Of going as far west as we have to go. I'm in a funk just because of something that happened, but trying to move through it. Shannon's been really great, so very thankful to have Shannon.
We are a quarter of the way through. A quarter,
Woo!
right? Yes.
Yeah.
My math might not be mathing, but I think we're around a quarter.
Yeah? Okay, so this is where we're at. We are walking because my pain is pretty intense, and we still have a half K, 21K to go. So
Halfway done.
we're not quite halfway done, we're almost halfway done. But we're walking because we still have a far distance. You guys, I'm gonna cry! Dang it, I wasn't supposed to cry yet. Thanks, Tina. Thank you, Emma. Love you guys. Keep having people try to kick us off the course. We're officially on the sidewalk. And gonna do our best to stay with the course as much as possible. We will have to pivot at one point. That's okay, because we're gonna do the distance. And you know what? Forward is a freaking pace. So whatever, we're moving forward and we're gonna do this. We're just walking a lot because mama hurts, but it's okay. So I'm pretty sure they're pulling up the sports staff stuff now, so you're not gonna get any more updates moving forward, but know that we're still moving forward.
In the rain.
In the rain, it's raining, it's pretty cold, but we're self-supported, and you know, just another 18 kilometers to go.
It's nothing.
Ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing. We got this.
I'm not in an extreme amount of pain, it's fine.
Just
The 26 kilometer mark, maybe 27, we got kicked off the course. We actually had like a verbal argument with some of the people on the race and a police officer. They had closed off a bridge, a street that vehicles can go on, and they basically were like, at this point, if you don't reach this point by this time, you will not be allowed to continue, because there's no way you can run out and then come back and come over this bridge before we have to open it up again. And so we went, we're gonna keep running. That's okay with us. On the website, it fully says you can move to the sidewalk and keep racing. It says that on the website. I saw that everywhere I looked. We received an email the day before or maybe a couple, I think it was the week of, saying, yeah, trust your training, but also if you don't think that you can finish, like, we encourage you to pivot to a half marathon. And Shannon and I weren't very pleased with that. I know I can do a marathon. I can do that distance. I trained for that distance, and I have the mental capacity to put my body into the amount of pain that I need to do to run a marathon. I can't run a marathon in 6 hours, and the cutoff time was 6 hours. We ended up doing it in 6 hours and 45 minutes, give or take. Let's say 6:46. Here's the thing that really annoyed me. They start the official 6 hours that you have to complete the thing when the elite runners cross the start line. So many people run this race that by the time my corral actually got to the start line, 50 minutes had passed. So already I'm back 50 minutes. Now, your official start time doesn't start until you cross the start line. I understand that. But you're putting back of the pack runners at a disadvantage. You're giving us almost an hour less than everyone else to be on the course. And on the website, it basically says, don't bother emailing us to ask if you can start early. No one's going to be allowed to start early. No one's going to be allowed to start in a different corral. Like, that's it. Part of me is like, do I just lie next time? Like, but that doesn't seem fair or right. You know what I mean? People can definitely tell the difference between an elite runner and a back of the pack runner. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really frustrating. If they had started the official 6 hour time by the time the last person crossed the start line, I would have had a much different race experience. I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't feel weird talking about it. I wouldn't have a little sense of shame connected to it, because I don't have an official race time. It feels terrible. It really does. It does. Basically, it just means I have to do another one, which I'm not thrilled about, but that will happen. So after we got kicked off the course, they literally started tearing the course down around us. And we got so far off the trail due to not being able to cross over this bridge because it was closed down. They wouldn't let us cross over it. And if we had been allowed to do that, I think things would have felt a little bit easier, but we really had to wayfind. And we ended up like very far off. Sorry, Chloe's playing with something beside me. We ended up very far off where we were supposed to be. And by the time we had kind of gotten out of that detoured area and gotten back kind of on track, I needed to be heading back towards the finish line, if that makes sense. Like, I couldn't continue heading away from the finish line. Just mentally, I needed to be on my way back. We got delirious, man. When I noticed that my phone was like starting to die, I went, oh man, I'm gonna have to turn off my music because I really needed to be tracking. Shannon was also tracking. We had devices tracking too, but we just really wanted to make sure that we did a full 42.2 kilometers. And so I turned off my music, and Shannon kept dancing beside me, and she had actually, I found out an hour later that she had also turned off her music when I turned off my music, but she kept dancing, which was hilarious to me. We were laughing, we were delirious, people on the street were talking to us because we were literally like running and walking down Queen Street, and the brunch crowd is out, right? So people are looking at us. And it was like, in hindsight, being with her and doing it was a phenomenal experience. But the official race experience was terrible. I'll put it that way. My friend Patricia actually walked the last kilometer to Nathan Phillips Square with us. When we got back to Nathan Phillips Square, which is where the finish line was, we had 2 kilometers left. My boyfriend met me there. They were tearing everything down there. Patricia asked them if we could get our medals, and they readily gave them to us along with some food. And at that point, we just decided, you know what? It's 2 kilometers to my apartment. Let's just walk back to my apartment. So Jordan and I hobbled to my apartment. I officially finished my full marathon outside of my apartment building, which is not the finish that you want. You know, like, I did a full 42.2. I have my medal. I have the distance is logged in my Strava, you know? I had an incredible friend that came out and ran with me. I had my incredible friend Patricia, who came to the finish line. I had Jordan, who came to the finish line, and like helped me bathe afterwards, and like, because I could barely move, you know, and like rubbed my feet, bless his heart. Yet I have so many mixed emotions about it because I knew I could do it, and I did do it, but I wasn't given the same opportunity as everybody else to do it. I mean, I guess in a way you could say that I was. I'm slow. I'm slow. I'm a slow runner. And will I work on my speed? Of course I will. But like I say, I am a plus-sized disabled person. I should be allowed to complete a full marathon if I want to. Someone that I follow on Instagram who has a much bigger online presence than I do, and like brand deals and stuff like that. I don't know if the New York City Marathon reached out to her or if she reached out to them, but last year she was the last person to finish the New York City Marathon because she's also disabled and has fibromyalgia and actually a heap of other things. And this year they let her start with the elite runners. She was given an extra like 2 hours to complete that thing. And so she did. And she got her finish that in my mind she deserved, you know? I'm not ever mad to be the last person on the course, but don't kick me off. Allow me to do the thing that I know that I can do. That's why it was disappointing. Am I thrilled that I did it? Yeah. Will I do it again? Absolutely. Will I do Toronto again? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm proud of myself. I'm very proud of what I've done. I shouldn't be able to do stuff like that with the amount of pain that I'm in. I have the mental capacity to because I've worked on it. I've worked at it really hard. And running is the thing that has made my brain the strongest. I have no regrets about what I did. I just wish the experience could have been different and that I had different shoes. I'm gonna end this here. Again, if you're new here, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please give this video a like. Comment below. The engagement really does help YouTube recognize my channel. If you made it this far, secret word, marathon. Secret word, comment below. And I'm gonna leave you with, I didn't cry. This is the thing. I didn't cry. Anyone who has been at the finish line of anything that I do, I always sob. like a little girl, I cry. I didn't cry at the end of this one, and it kind of freaked Patricia and Jordan out. They were like, are you okay? I think it was because of the way that it ended. But I did sob later that night. So I'm gonna leave you. I sobbed on Instagram because that's who I am. So I saved those videos and I'm just gonna leave you with those if you wanna watch. Bye guys. Thanks again for watching. Let me run a marathon, I begged. Like a fool. Maybe don't do stuff like this when you're disabled. You know, maybe it's just, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to bed. Thank you for all your encouragement and support today. Thank you to everyone who encouraged and supported me. To everyone who donated. You can still donate for the Alzheimer's Society until November 14th. Link is in my bio. We raised over $3,500 for Alzheimer's research. I only teared up when I saw people had sent me messages on a screen. I didn't even know you could do that. Oh, now I'm crying. And then 4 of my students who are all siblings sent me a message, and it just meant so much, and I cried then. But I didn't actually cry while I was running, which I don't understand. Do I recommend attempting a marathon when you have chronic pain? No. That is awful. I was so much pain. But it was worth it. And I'll move through this. I'll get better. I'll be fine. It's just hitting me. Months and months and months of preparation led to this moment and to this day. And I'm so thankful that it's done. I will be breaking up with running for a very long time. But I did it. I can't take any more painkillers today. But they're not working anyways, so it doesn't even matter. But I'm gonna try to sleep. Hopefully I can. I'm also now feeling very nauseous. So hopefully I don't have to run to the washroom because I can't run. But yes. I couldn't have done this without Shannon. I would have given up so many times if Shannon hadn't been there. But she got me through. She sang in her amazing, like, crazy voice and danced and got me through. Find yourself a Shannon. Everyone needs a Shannon in their lives. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed.